Oh, my goodness. Michael, Don, Peter, thank you for accepting my call. My first time calling to the K Show.
Welcome aboard.
You guys have been watching baseball longer than I've been alive. So I want to talk a real honest conversation about the 5-day layoff. Earlier, Michael, you showed some anxiety about Cole and the pitching and the 9 days off of the pitch. I don't think that's where the fear should lie. The fear should lie in the hittings. I'm an Atlanta Braves fan. I saw the greatest offense, one of the best offenses in MLB history, crash out in 4 games last year. Acuna, Olsen, Betts, and Freeman for the Dodgers. They all combined for 1 extra base hit in 7 games. So I know the Braves have not had a great season, injuries and all. I have never had more fear for a Mets series than now. I think the Mets are going to beat the Braves, and do not be surprised if the Mets go on a run to the NLCS eventually. And I'm not trying to be a bad luck Braves fan. I really think that they can knock off one of the top teams with the bye because of that layoff. And do not be surprised if the Yankees get bounced in the first round bye. Because here's the thing. The playoffs are more a crapshoot now. You can say the Astros. Well, the Astros are an exception to the rule. It's 6 straight ALCS appearance. That's not supposed to happen. So, Michael, I really want to get your opinion on this 5-day layoff because maybe I have pie on my face after the divisional round and, the top seed to make it through.
Here's the deal, Deep. I really believe that it's an issue. The numbers say it's an issue, and teams have to get creative and have to be better. You know what? Bring your AAA team up. Play games. Play simulated games. I know you're risking an injury, but you've got to have your hitters stay ready. Against batting practice pitchers is not having them stay ready. So call up your AAA pitchers and pitch against them. Or have your pitchers that aren't going to start, like Marcus Stroman and the other 2, whoever the Yankees pick, to be the odd men out of the 6. Have them pitch simulated games to stay ready against the lineup. It's a must. Because I think 2 of the 8 teams that have been number 1 seeds in the 3 years of this format have gotten to the World Series. Just 2. So there's something to it. But one thing I'll push back against, and people are not going to like it because people always use this as an excuse, I don't buy crapshoot. I think there's a level of chance involved. Crapshoot. You know why the Astros go to the ALCS all the time and go to the World Series? Because they're the best team. Because they're built to win. They've got the right components, and their players know how to win. I can't say if you're the best team that you're going to lose on a crapshoot. It can't happen every year.
The crapshoot can't be the word. But when you have a sport, and let's face it, the more playoff teams you add, the more there's a chance of a team making a run or harder it is for you to win. So it's not a crapshoot, but it's not based anything on the 162, on how you played for this month or that month or for this half or that half. It's how are you playing right now. And that's why I like the Mets' chances, because their record is based on getting off to the brutal start. And it might end up costing them a playoff spot at the end of the day. We'll see. But, Michael, if you judge them since May 30th, they're one of the best teams in baseball. But the standings say otherwise. So we have to look at how you're playing. That's why I like the Mets' chances. I've changed on the Yankees. I didn't think they had much of a chance. Now the way they're playing, I give them an excellent chance. So you got to be healthy. You got to get hot at the right time. That's the way it is. The regular season doesn't have as much meaning as it used to because usually cream flowed to the top. That's not the case now. Now it's just you could be at the bottom at the start of the playoffs, but if your bats get hot or you get a pitcher that gets hot, you catch a couple of breaks. If 10 teams, Michael, have a chance of winning the World Series, then it is kind of just however you're playing at that particular moment.
Yeah, I understand that. But I think if you look at the teams that do get to the World Series, there are components that will tell you why they got there. Good starting pitching, a good bullpen. Those are the things that play. I think that the Mets and the Yankees both have that. Yankees go in healthy, which they haven't done. With the Mets, you cross your finger that Lindor's going to be okay. It worried me yesterday that he said, I'm going to be playing in pain the rest of the year, but I'm okay with that. Those are things that concern you.
But both could be right. Do you have to have great pitching or have your pitching be great? Because whoever wins the World Series is going to get great pitching. But does that mean that they actually have great pitching or they happen to get great pitching. Like, you could have it lined up with former Cy Young Award winners and 20-game winners, but if they don't pitch well in the postseason, you're going to lose. So you measure it by, well, I think this team's got the best rotation. Okay, but if it doesn't pitch to their back of their baseball card, it doesn't matter. So, yes, you have to pitch well, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have great pitchers that did that. They just happen to pitch great. So I like the Mets starting rotation, Michael, but the back of the baseball card doesn't tell you that that's championship caliber. I mean, Severino's
but they pitched great for 4 months.
Right, but if the Mets win the World Series, are you going to say that that was a rotation that was built to win the World Series? No, but maybe it will be good enough to win the World Series.
But if they go to the World, but the way they've played for 4 months, if they go to the World Series, Don, I don't think you're going to be shocked. I mean, they've shown components of a team that has what it takes to get to the World Series.
But when you built that rotation, you didn't say, all right, we're set. That's good enough to win the World Series. You know what I mean? So the best laid plans, I think that's why people throw out crapshoot. In order to make the playoffs over 162 games, even with the extra wild card, you got to be pretty good. So, but you've got to make sure that everybody plays to the back of their baseball card or exceeds that. So whoever wins the World Series is going to get great pitching, but does that mean they had great pitchers? Because you could turn around, look at Texas. Texas is going to finish how many games under 500? Not that many differences from this team the last year. They just didn't get the same performances. Now they missed the playoffs. Last year they got everything they needed, and they ended up winning the World Series.
Let's go to Nick in New Jersey. Nick.
How you doing, guys?
Good. How you doing, Nick?
Good, thank you. I just want to know, how many times is Aaron Boone going to go to Clay Holmes and blow every single game? Isn't enough and enough?
Well, I mean, he's not the closer anymore. And yesterday, and when he got 2 guys on and then he struck a guy out, he took him out right away. So, Nick, the problem is you don't give up on a guy with an arm like that. So if you don't put him on the postseason roster, who are you taking that has a better arm than Clay Holmes? Tell me. I mean, everybody doesn't want to see the guy on the roster. I understand exactly what Boone is doing. He's trying to find a vehicle where this guy can be a contributing factor to a multifaceted bullpen. You don't just give up on a guy who throws 97 miles an hour.
But you also have an opportunity to see if he deserves to be on the postseason roster or not. This is what you're trying to figure out.
He's going to be on the postseason roster, no matter what he does in the last 6 games, other than getting hurt.
Okay, so now you need to know what you have in him.
Right.
So I would think if things continue the way they're going, it's not going to be too many high-leverage opportunities. Right? So he'll come in when they need somebody. They need to get a righty out, or they maybe they need somebody to come in to mop up. But that's what it'll be. He's not going to close. All right, what is that caller so worried about? They've been one of the hottest teams in baseball. Clay Holmes blew it the one game, blew the save. This is all good news. That means he's not going to be in a position to close the game. If he is in a position to close the game, Michael, in the postseason and they lose, then you've got the right to call and complain and kill Boone. Right now, he's trying to see where everybody is going to be in the pecking order. And believe me, if he continues to pitch the way he's pitching, the Yankees are going to make sure that he's not in a position to cost
Let's
them.
go to Kurt in Port Washington. Kurt.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Michael, Don, Peter, Anthony. 2 points. But before I make my point, I have to say to Peter, I'm sitting here with my dog, and I saw you last week. And there's a show called Dancing America's Got Talent, and Sofia Vergara said she wanted that dog. Peter, can I have that dog?
My dog?
Yeah, that's a cute dog.
I appreciate you greatly. You mean Bear, I assume? You mean Bear or Rocky? Because they're both adorable dogs. You mean Bear?
Oh, I only saw the one on your...
Yes.
Yeah, I only saw the one on your lap. That's if that's Bear, that's the cutest dog I've ever seen.
Oh, thank you. That is my sweet, almost 14-year-old boy. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, Kurt.
Wow.
All right, no. So, Michael, this is to you. I don't understand why they call that 21-year-old kid the Martian. To me, the Martian is Soto. That 21-year-old kid is not the Martian. Soto is the Martian.
All right, thanks for
All right, thank you, Kurt.
That was
I
a
appreciate
great call.
it. He's called the Martian. He's had that nickname because he's out of this world. So then Ohtani should be but Ohtani's nickname's a unicorn. So I mean, really, why would that even bother you?
Well, no. I I don't want to defend the gentleman, but he did say something nice about my dog, so I'll
and
try.
also, if God forbid one of the dogs are stolen, you know who did it.
But is it possible what
No.
he was just saying was not that he literally wants to change his nickname, but it was an awkward way of complimenting how incredible Soto is?
Yeah, well,
it's a bad call.
Soto's nickname is a generational Juan Soto. He gave it to himself.
No, that's a terrible nickname. Maybe the guy was right. Maybe he should get the version.
Because it's a slow day, so let's just take calls debating what nicknames should be.
Why do you feel so strongly about that?
I don't know, because I'd like good calls.
I didn't think it was that bad.
No, it was one of the worst calls
You know what?
we've had.
Come on.
The guy
Have you listened to the last few weeks?
could have said, by the way, Don, I'm coming by your house, and I'm going to saw off your neck. And Peter, because he complimented Bear, would be, that wasn't that
Whoever
awful.
says, can I have it? Like, nobody's ever said, I got to tell you, the twins are gorgeous. Can I have one of them? You know what I would do? I'd call the police.
Well, he was quoting Sofia Vergara.
Right, but Don does make a good point. That is a weird way to compliment. You just say, hey, I love the dog, but can I have him? What if I'd said yes? How weird would that have gotten?
Then it would have been weird on you.
Right.
But I'm just saying that God forbid something happens to Rocky or Bear, we have a suspect.
What was his name?
Kurt.
It's Kurt in Port Washington is what you're saying.
Yeah, sorry.
Right.
You know, I don't know if you
Yeah, I'm
guys
alert.
realize this, but I talk for a living.
Wait, you do?
Yeah. And whether I'm in the studio... So earlier I said, the Astros are a team that concerns me a bit, but, there's news that Yordan Alvarez, he slid into second base yesterday in a game against the Angels and hurt his knee. Underwent an MRI, woke up in some pain, and Joe Espada, their manager, said, it's certainly not what I was hoping for today. The Astros without Alvarez. Alvarez is a guy who just kills the Yankees, kills everybody. He's a great player. But if you lose Alvarez... Right. You will also lose a lot of chances to go further in the postseason.
I hear once you lose Alvarez, you lose America.
It's like Cronkite in the old days.
Mm-hmm.
But they're in no danger of changing their position. So
No.
He won't play until he can get a nice little break. When will they play?
They're playing tonight against the...
No, I know that. I'm saying...
they would play in the first round.
Yeah, so that would be, Tuesday?
Yep.
Yeah, so he'd have a week... a little bit more than a week to be able to rest it, because I don't think you need to play him at all. I think they're locked into the 3 seed, right? They're all pretty much done. I don't think they've technically clinched the division yet.
Yeah, but they're up 5 with 6 to go.
They're 5 and 6 to play, so you don't have to worry about it.
Now, Met fans should feel a sense of relief, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was told that my wild card assignment to do the game on ESPN television will be an American League wild card. It will not be the Mets against somebody.
Well, I don't know why there'd be a sigh of relief, Michael. They had success in London.
Yeah, but you should have seen the hatred for Met fans when I did the game.
They don't get it.
How could ESPN do that?
They don't get it.
Now, could it mean? No. Well, no.
What? Say it. Okay, be hurtful. I'm all right.
No, they're not going to give them a Yankee series.
Well,
And
They're not going to be in the wild card.
and they won't end up playing it, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I think he's. Where would Michael go? Let's see.
Baltimore?
That would
Yeah,
would be my hope and dream, Peter. I mean, I would.
We know you love Baltimore.
Well, I just love Amtrak, so that.
Yeah, that'd be easy.
When I was on that plane yesterday for 5 hours, I said, wouldn't it be great if this was the last flight I had to take this year? But I know I have to go to the wild card. But I'm hearing rumors it could be Houston.
Which you hate that.
Hey, you and I both do.
But
you hate it with a passion.
Well, if the season ended today, and it doesn't, you could get an Oriole Tiger series, right?
Throw out the record books.
And then you'll get a little Detroit. That's not a terrible flight.
No. It would be in Baltimore. Baltimore is the best.
So you don't even worry. Yeah, that's right. All 3. Yeah. So that.
Yeah, but
I
hear it's not that. I hear it would probably be Houston.
Now I heard them talking about this in the morning, and nobody's been able to give me any satisfactory answer.
I'm sorry.
You don't know.
Right now, if you look at MLB.com, and you would think that's the gold standard for MLB information. It's their site.
Usually, yeah, they got good stuff.
Why do they have the Diamondbacks ahead of the Mets? They are in a flat-footed tie with the best record. The Mets have the tiebreaker because they beat them during the regular season. So why aren't the Mets listed as the 2 wild card? Why are they listed as the 3, Michael? I need to know the answer to that.
Didn't we discuss this a couple of weeks ago? I think if it's 2 wild card teams that are tied from different divisions, it's the interdivisional record rather than head-to-head, I think, but I'm not sure.
Well, that has to be the answer, right? Because unless there's some algorithm that just automatically gives it to the team with a better run differential until they actually are officially tied at the end of the season. But all I keep hearing from people is, well, the Mets have the tiebreak against the Padres and the Diamondbacks because they won the season series. But we'd have to get the information on what exactly is the tiebreaker for Mets and the Diamondbacks. Not that it matters much, because they're both going to have to play on the road. But I was just kind of curious why that's the case, because I look and I see Tigers-Royals, and the Tigers are listed ahead of the Royals, so I'm assuming the Tigers have had the better head-to-head record.
Yeah, but they're in the same division, so I think that throws it a little bit.
But that's why I went with the head-to-head, because that would obviously be the first tiebreaker.
I guess they look at the tiebreaker that is more fair if it's who has the best head-to-head in 13 games rather than 7.
Okay, I was just curious about that.
And I could be wrong.
They were talking about it in the morning and didn't know the answer either.
Wait, Rothenberg didn't know the answer?
No, because it wasn't asked in trivia form.
That's the only way he knows.
Hey guys, did you call up Rick DiPietro last week for his birthday?
I texted him during the show.
All right, good. I'm glad. Peter, did you reach
enough,
out?
Right?
No, that's fine.
I think I missed it.
Yummy. You missed it, and you wonder why.
I think I did. Did I?
It was the 19th. It was Thursday.
Oh, man. And I last texted with him on Wednesday.
Well,
that's unfortunate.
What an animal.
What was that little exchange? I wondered.
What was that about?
No, you heard about it. It was when he texted me and said I should never be mentioned in the same sentence as Ric Flair.
Oh, okay.
That was it.
Let's go to John and Tom's River. John.
Good afternoon, guys. Good to talk to you.
Hey, what's up, man?
I called you last Thursday about the dilemma with the Jets and Mets, and I chose the Mets.
Right.
I think I made the right decision. No, I have one other question for you for this upcoming week. If you look at the weather forecast for Wednesday in Atlanta, they're calling for 5.5 inches of rain between noon Wednesday and 6 a.m. Friday. What happens if Wednesdays and Thursdays games get rained out? How are you going to manage out play those
John,
games?
from what I've heard, I think they have a chance to play Wednesday. So that begs the question: if the forecast is that dire, if they would play a doubleheader on Wednesday, or there's Monday is an open date for that very reason, which would stink for the Mets to have to go play the Braves. And then if they win that, it would be great if they won, obviously, but then they have to travel wherever they have to travel for the series as well. So I've been sent the tiebreakers.
Yes.
Beat a tie atop the division, a tie for the final wild card, a tie between two division winners, or any other tie that would affect the postseason field. Tiebreakers will be determined in this order. Head-to-head record. The first and simplest tiebreaker is a result of the season series between the tied teams. If Team X and Team Y tie for the top spot in the division, Team X won 10-8 against Team Y, then Team X is division champs. It's more complex for 3-team tries. This doesn't apply. Whoever sent me this is wrong. This doesn't apply. This isn't a 3-team tie. You're asking why are the Diamondbacks listed above the Mets on MLB.com?
No, but it's saying that the first tiebreaker's head-to-head.
Yeah,
right?
but again, so if that's the case, then they shouldn't be listed above the Mets. The Mets should be listed above them.
So thus, the reason I'm asking the question, like, why are they listed? Unless, again, there's some algorithm that because they have the better run differential, and then they'll sort it out at the end of the season. But I think they're giving misinformation. I don't get that.
I don't like it either.
And everywhere, every paper, everywhere, it has the Diamondbacks listed ahead of the Mets. Crazy.
Let's go to Danny in Long Island.
Most of the callers are negative, Mike, but you know me, I'm always bubbly, warm, and inviting.
Yeah, that's you.
That's how I found you.
And quite frankly, I believe it's just alphabetical order. How about Arizona over New York for now until we get to the last game of the season? It could be something as simple as that on a computer.
So we don't try anymore.
We can't. It's too much for Major League Baseball. But, listen, first of all, I would like to thank Major League Baseball scheduling to give me a night off from this Mets pennant race, because it's amazing that the baseball season is 6 months long and 162 games, and every game is not that important until it is all encompassing to the point where last night I didn't even know there was an NFL game on. I didn't see a down of it till after the last ball ended up in Alvarez's glove. It is intense. It is nonstop. It is pure agony. It's delicious, and this is what we wanted, and we got it. And when you look back at the Mets' schedule this month, they've played 20 games. They've let up 3 runs or less in 15 of the 20 games, and they won games 1-0, 2-3. You know, they haven't been, just this offensive onslaught is relatively new. But man, the pitching has been unbelievable from a bunch of really, I hate to say it, the no-name defense. It's really a bunch of retreads and guys trying to resurrect their career. And whoever the Mets pitching coach is, I hope he's on a 1-year contract because man, name your price, because he has worked miracles with not 1, not 2, but 3 guys who really have come on, and this is what we all wanted. Just a couple hours ago, you were talking about the more than 1 inning save. So I just did a little dive while I was sitting here. It's a list of baseball legends, none of which anyone under the age of 40 years old, other than Mariano Rivera, would know. It's a dying art. Those weren't closers; they were relief pitchers. Raleigh Fingers, Gossage, Lee Smith, Quisenberry, Reardon, Lyle, Mike Marshall. Mike Marshall pitched like multiple innings every day of the season, like 1977. He pitched over 200 innings, 300 innings in relief. It doesn't happen anymore. It's just that's just the way the game's played.
I'm reading the book. The author escapes me. From first to worst, it's the Mets from 1973 to 1977, and so I'm in the 73 part. Michael, Tug McGraw pitched every day, and then when Tug McGraw went into a slump, you know what they did? They had him start a couple of games to see if he could get out of it. It was crazy. Like it's a completely different animal. It is. I don't want to sound like Goose Gossage, but that's why Goose would flip out all the time. It's like, don't compare me to these guys. I go on. I'd have a 3-inning save every time I got a save.
Jacob Kanarek is the author.
And the pitching coach is Jeremy Hefner, who terrific. Buck would rave about to me, and Buck inherited him. And you know, usually when Buck inherited people, I mean, it was a crapshoot whether or not he would embrace. He loved Jeremy Hefner, thought he was great. So they kept Jeremy Hefner as the pitching coach when they hired Mendoza, and he's a very good pitching coach.
But you go back, I really think, and again, your bullpen always makes the manager look great. You go to the bullpen too soon, and that pitcher doesn't have it, Michael. What do? They kill the manager. But he knew McGill, just didn't have it through 4. So the way he massaged the bullpen last night, trying to hold on to, at the time, a 1-1 tie to a 1-run lead, I thought was handled brilliantly. And it looks great because the entire bullpen that was forced to go 5 innings allowed just 1 hit.
Let's go to Tom in North Carolina. Tom.
Hey, Michael, Don, and Peter, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. This is about the 4th time I called. Long-time listener, big Raiders fan. Just wanted to clear a few things up. I watched a lot of the Raiders post-game stuff and some analysis this morning. And first of all, Coach Pierce, he was talking about Jack Jones and a couple of the linemen who were basically doing walkthroughs during real football time. And they showed it on TV today on one of the Raiders stations. So I did not think he was talking about Devontae. Devontae was a big reason why Coach Pierce got called back for this year. So I think he's pretty much with him. So, I mean, I have a lot of Jet fan friends, being originally from Long Island, but I think we're a long way from Devontae ended up being a Jet. As of today, even after that loss yesterday, the Raiders are the 7th seed in the AFC, would be in the playoffs if it started today. So they're going to have to be totally out of it before it's even looked at. Again, not to raid on all the Jet fans' parade, but I don't know if that's going to happen for them.
Yeah, and also there's going to be tons of competition, so the idea that they'll get them for nothing, you still end up costing you a first-round pick.
The NFL yesterday is coming up in just a moment.
It's
like
one
of
my
our more
favorite part of the
popular
week.
segments that we do on the show. But
Yeah.
first, Don's going to opine about Mazda.
Wow, that is. Listen, it was bold.
It was bold.
The Yankee guy thinks they're going to be a perennial winner.
Didn't say the Yankees wouldn't be.
No, but that's how the Yankee fan probably took it.
They shouldn't take it that way. They should take it the way it's meant. You know what I mean?
Oh, listen, I'm with you. I don't get the hate. from the Yankee fan. I can understand a Met fan hating the Yankees because I'll tell you, it comes from jealousy. But right now, why would you even worry about the Yankees? You're in great shape.
Now, you did not like the Yankees celebrating the way they did in Seattle.
No, I don't like baseball teams doing it.
So if the Mets win 2 games in Atlanta to clinch and they go nuts, you going to be okay with it?
I don't like it. But, I mean, I listen, I will be happy that they clinched, and I think it makes a little bit more sense considering everything that they've been through. But I'm not going to be disingenuous. I think that I think the baseball celebrations are ridiculous. When a hockey or basketball team clinch a playoff berth, even if it was a miracle, would they be dumping champagne all over each other and having goggles? No. So what is the difference? I would like to know what the difference is.
Well, Jeff Nelson had some strong words to say about it. He said, first of all, if you're going to say, he believes in the celebrating. He said it's a long season. Yeah. He said, don't wear goggles. He said, let it sting. Let it hurt. It'll go away. Not going to blind you.
Okay. But he likes the celebration because it's a long season. Other sports don't have long seasons?
He just said that baseball is the longest season, the most games, and he said, you deserve to celebrate.
I think everybody deserves to celebrate. Every sport works very hard. Maybe they don't have as many games, but they've got practices. They have to travel quite a bit, just like baseball does. I think it's an old tradition when you actually won your league and nobody wanted to give up on it. But because football players only play 17 games, they don't work as hard as baseball players to get ready and to practice all the time and the travel that they have too. But you don't see a team clinch a wild card berth and spray champagne in the locker room, do you?
No.
That's all. So I never got on the Yankees for celebrating because they've got bigger fish to fry or they've got goggles on. What's the matter? I don't know. My take is, why does baseball do it? No other sport does it. And I don't accept the long season angle because everybody's got a long season as far as time is concerned, and maybe not as many games, but the prep and all that. It's the same thing. They deserve to celebrate too, but they don't. I'd like to know why.
What were this happened over the weekend, so we didn't get a chance to opine on it. CJ Abrams, who was an all-star for the Nationals, he's in Chicago with his team, and he goes to a casino in Chicago and stays at the casino till 8 a.m., and there's a game at 1, and the team sent him down to A-ball. This is an all-star. They sent him down to A-ball.
Huh?
And I'll tell you what, the players I spoke to, they weren't talking to me as if they were on the record. They were not happy.
Can you plane this?
Can you what?
Plane. Explain.
Maybe I doubt that you'd send a guy down just for a one-off, but maybe he's been doing this a lot. And teams do have curfew.
It is a little egregious.
That's a lot, though.
But I understand you're a good player, but
hasn't been a good player in the second half of the season, by the way.
Well, and so that tells you that maybe there's a bit of a history here. I love. Did you hear Keith Hernandez?
Yeah.
Like during the broadcast, Peter, Gary told the story, and Keith's like, I could see 4, but 8?
Well, it's funny because Nelson
I saw that quote.
Nelson had a take on that as well, and he said, good for him. He said, instead of these players now that go back to their room and they're on PlayStation till 4 in the morning, go out and interact with people.
Jeff.
So you don't agree with that?
No, and I did shows with Jeff, and I like Jeff. He may not even know I exist.
He
but
does.
I do
he listens to the show all the time.
But I don't like that take. But come on, Michael, you're a rookie, and you go out in the casino till 8. I mean, I'm sorry, an all-star, right. and he's 8 in the morning for a 1 o'clock. I'm sorry, you can't just say, well, at least he's not playing video games. I'm not saying playing video games till 8 o'clock in the morning's right either. But at least he's interacting with people. Come on, you can't have that, Michael. Come on, you got to be. I understand these games are meaningless, but come on, you have to have some respect for the trade.
Well, it's funny because one of the former athletes that I have done games with on, yes, I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want people to figure out who he's talking about. He was on a team that was in Chicago, and one of the star players on the team liked to go out. And if you're going to get in trouble in sports, Peter, you're going to get in trouble in Chicago.
Why is that?
Because it's a toddling town. And you could stay out till 4 or 5 in the morning, find something to do, find a place to be. And this team, where an analyst that I work with, used to drop off one of its star players, and the big street that players hang out on is Rush Street. Mm-hmm. There's a place called The Lodge that's been there forever. Across the street from The Lodge is Mother's. If you ever saw the movie About Last Night, that's a big part of About Last Night, the Rob Lowe and Jim Belushi vehicle.
Yeah, Demi Moore.
And the bus going to Wrigley Field would actually go on Rush Street. And this guy, this famous player, this was about 9 in the morning, the first bus, would be propped up against a brick wall in an alleyway, and they'd have to lift him up and put him in the bus, and then he would go play. So it's gone on for years, but now
I know.
That's why what the Nationals did, that's why I think there's got to be something else there, Don. He broke curfew once, and you're going to send him down to A-ball? Got to be something else.
Well, I'm trying to remember the pitcher, Michael. This is going back like 20 years ago. He was a Yankee. He was also an Oriole. Like, didn't he get suspended because he, like, went to a Metallica concert, missed curfew? Do you remember that?
I don't remember it.
I'm trying to look up when it would have been. Again, it was a long time ago. Pitcher, also an Oriole. God, it's going to bother me now. I'll track it down. But he went to Philadelphia for like a Metallica concert and like missed. I guess just don't get caught. But I think, Michael, the stories from a bunch of years ago, it's different now. I don't think you really can do that anymore.
Oh, no, and somebody did take a picture. He wasn't with a lot of people or like drinking. He was actually just gambling. But there are great stories about curfew. George Steinbrenner used to hire somebody, like a fan, to have a baseball in the lobby.
Yeah. And
the fan would start collecting autographs at like 4 in the morning. And if he'd get a ball player to sign the ball, then George knew that you broke curfew. Any name that was on the ball was given to George, and he would know if you broke curfew.
Yeah, Scotty Bowman used to do that with a hockey stick.
Oh, really?
He'd have one of the security guys in the hotel be in the lobby that worked like the overnight shift, and, hey, can you sign the stick? And anybody who signed the stick, they all got busted for breaking curfew.
Let's go to the phones, 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to Dan in New Jersey. Dan.
Hey, Michael, Don, and Peter. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Michael, quick experience. You're going to miss the Coliseum at all or no?
No, I did not like that place. I mean, I feel sorry for the fans. The fans are great, and I think that the owner really screwed them over, but it's a concrete mausoleum.
But a lot of good things happened for the Yankees there. I was thinking about that. That's where the flip play happened.
The flip play happened there, absolutely. Domingo Germán pitched the perfect game there.
Oh, thank you to Brendan McCool. Sidney Ponson.
Oh, okay.
That was the pitcher that...
What was your other point, Dan?
Sidney Ponson. Wow.
So, one last point about the Coliseum. That horn yesterday was so unbelievably annoying. I had to go back to football because that horn was just awful.
It was killing me. It was killing me, Dan. It's so loud. I used to drive Sterling nuts.
And the other thing that's been killing me as a fan, the over-reliance on Clay Holmes yesterday annoyed me. They had to get 5 outs out of Weaver. Why is Tommy Kahnle, who right now is your second-best reliever, not in that game yesterday? And I get it's Oakland, and I get you're trying to straighten out Clay Holmes.
Well, there you go. If you get it, you get it. If you get it, you get it. There it is.
Dan, can we be honest with Dan?
No, he needed to go.
He doesn't like football. Dan doesn't like football. He said he had to go back to football because the A's Yankee game was too loud a horn.
So you're one of the hottest teams in baseball now. You're finally getting healthy. You're finally right. Judge is off the schneid, and you're going to complain about Clay Holmes. Stop it. What is it with you people? What is it with you people?
But it's funny. He knew the answer. I understand you're trying to straighten out. All right, stop. There's your answer.
But you don't understand, Michael. I need to complain about something. Things are too good. I need to find something to complain about. I'm a Yankee fan that wants to complain. Don't kill my vibe, Michael. He answered his own question, but he still had the call to complain about the horn, about the use of Clay Holmes. How about talking about, hey, 55 home runs for Aaron Judge. He's hot again. The team's healthy. The team's about to clinch the division. This team with all their holes and all their problems, and Brian Cashman should be drawn quartered, and Aaron Boone doesn't deserve a job in Major League Baseball, might actually have the best record in Major League Baseball. Go soak your head.
Oh, wow.
We've been here a long time.
Yes.
Never, Don, Michael, you ever heard you go soak
No,
your head?
I've never heard him say that. That's why I love working with him. It's something new every day.
We got to keep it fresh. What are we doing?
So Scott Erskine said that Abrams only got sent to the low-level affiliate because the AAA team season's ended. Okay.
That makes sense.
But he still got sent to A-ball. They didn't have to send him out at all. They could have benched him.
Well,
they could have fined him, but instead they made an example of him and sent him to A-ball.
Well, that must tell you that he's been a bit of a problem. Can't be just one incident. And hey, listen, honestly, Michael, the one time you break curfew, you do it by like 9 hours. Sounds to me like he's a habitual line stepper.
Oh, wow. Let's go to Matthew in Hawaii.
Good morning.
Hello, gentlemen.
How you doing, Matt?
Yeah, it's about noon here.
Ah.
Oh, I'm doing well. Guys.
Good.
Okay, he's high.
My question was for Don, actually. Just because he's not exactly a Yankees fan, but he's been in the market a long time. I was wondering, do you see Yankees fans as kind of fair weather to an extent? I mean, we always wax poetic about how we ride for our guys, especially homegrown guys, yet you see Cole get demolished and blasphemed against after one bad start. You see guys falling in love with Jazz after half a season, whereas Torres, 5 out of his 7 seasons, he's above average offensive player, maybe 6 if he keeps it up. Jazz only 2, including this year. And then even when Soto was off to the hot start and Judge was struggling, people were ready to rip the wedding ring off of Judge's finger and hand it to Soto. I just kind of think that to some extent we seem to be a lot of bluster.
Yeah, I don't know if it's fair weather or it's just holding a team to a standard that I don't think any team could ever live up to. And nobody's going to go 162. Nobody's going to be perfect. But, Michael, I don't know if there's a fan base that holds their team to a standard as high as Yankee fans hold this team. And I understand the history, but come on, you got to adjust. Times are different. It may not be a crapshoot, but it's hard to win now. It's way harder to win now than it was back in the day. Way harder. So you're judging this team based on what the team did 20 years ago? It was a lot easier then. Look at the teams that are in the playoffs, Michael. Look at some of the best teams in baseball. They're not all from big markets. They're not all have $300 million payrolls.
Did you guys see what Belichick said?
I don't know. He's chatting a lot because it could have.
I know. What was it? The opening of an envelope?
He said everybody. He said everybody likes Sam Darnold except for the Mets.
Huh?
Except for the Jets. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I said Mets.
It hit different when you changed the sport.
Except for the Jets.
So he wasn't scared by the own ghost that he created that Sam Darnold saw.
Yeah, he could have picked up Sam Darnold rather than go with the quarterback that he went with last year. He didn't. Sam Darnold was very available.
But I think the point is that because he loves to give his little digs to the Jets, is that the Jets screwed this up.
Well, Sam Darnold's 3-0. Geno Smith is 3-0. I mean, there might be something to it.
Well, I said many times, yeah, they picked the wrong quarterback, but every single time. So maybe it has something to do with that you're not doing the right thing with these guys. Every time they pick the wrong guy.
Let's go to Evan in D.C. Evan.
Hey, guys. How we doing today?
Good.
What's up?
Good. Just to the point about the celebrating after, clinching. I think kind of like what you guys said about like back in the day and how in Chicago players used to go out. Nowadays, like you guys just spoke about with CJ, you can't really go out without taking, people taking pictures of you and stuff like that. I think New York's like a different space because you always see people out in the wild, but like everywhere else, it's always crazy. So I think it's just something for the guys to like let loose because they, can't be out and go out all the time,
No, but what do they go out and pour champagne over themselves with goggles out in public?
No, but I mean, some guys get after it. You hear those stories of players and even guys that I went to college with. There were some nights that it gets a little crazy, and pro athletes can't necessarily do that. So that's a time.
It's an interesting.
Yeah,
take.
but let's double back to what Don said. Same thing with the NBA players. Same thing with the NFL. They can't go out anymore. They don't celebrate like this.
I think it's probably something that's fun to do. I've been in rooms where they've celebrated. I've never celebrated like that before. It's just a tradition that the players don't want to give up on, and it's just not a thing in other sports. But don't tell me that they work harder or their season's longer or whatever. No, it's just, for whatever reason, it's accepted in baseball. It's a fun thing to do. But in other sports, it's not. And I would like to see other people get a chance to sell. I think it's hard to make the playoffs in other sports. I mean, they want to celebrate too, especially in football, Michael. You don't even see that celebration when they clinched the berth to the Super Bowl.
And you don't see it at the Super Bowl.
Right. It just, maybe you see a little bit of excitement or whatever when they won the championship. But with all these extra, and that was the other thing too, is, well, there's only 4 teams that make the playoffs out of 26 teams. Well, that's all changed. Now 12 of the 30 get to make it. Like, so, and then there's different stages of celebrating. So the Yankees will have a champagne celebration tomorrow when they beat Baltimore because they'll clinch the division. So that'll be a second one in less than a week.
I heard this. I don't know if it's true. A couple of people told me this one will be much more subdued. Maybe a toast.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
That's backwards.
Well, because when you celebrate making the playoffs, you don't know if you're going to win the division. So you have the big celebration. Then if you win the division, you don't go crazy. Maybe they will. I don't know.
See, that's all the more reason it's such a loser's mentality.
Right.
You should know that you're going to win the division and wait and celebrate then.
But it's like, hey, we got bigger fish to fry here. We want to go for the division.
See, but that's what happened with the Mets. That's why Pete Alonso said he never got a chance to celebrate, because they didn't celebrate getting into the playoffs because they thought they were going to celebrate winning the division. They got swept by Atlanta. So they never celebrated anything.
But, the whole idea of winning a championship is not the excitement of spraying champagne all over yourself and wearing goggles. It's about winning the championship.
Let's go to Artie in Fairlawn.
Hey, Michael, Don, Peter, how are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Yeah.
What's going on, brother? Excellent. Listen, first of all, Don, you just hit it right on the head. I don't know when it started, maybe 2012, when more than 4 teams made the playoffs. So it's not a crapshoot, but it's not easy right now to win the playoffs.
Yeah, 95 was when they finally expanded the wild.
I got a question for Michael, though. Michael,
sure, why not?
Last year, when the Yankees, for the first time in a long time, didn't make the playoffs, I come home, my mom's got the wild card game on, and you're doing a game, and I'd never heard you do a Yankee playoff game. Are you doing any of them this year?
No. Well, I mean, I used to do Yankee playoff games all the time on the radio, but I'm doing an ESPN wild card game, and the Yankees aren't going to be in the wild card round. But I don't think that they would use the Yankee announcer as the play-by-play guy nationally, because would it be fair to the other team that doesn't have their play-by-play guy doing the game? So I will either be on. I'll be on an American League Series. I don't know which one yet.
And knowing your luck, which you think is always bad, it'll be Houston. The best thing would be Baltimore, Detroit. Nice little Acela down to Baltimore.
Oh, he'd love it.
You know what?
Hear that?
To save ESPN money, I would pay for the Acela myself. Yeah, I wouldn't even expense it. They'd save money if they sent me to Baltimore. Like, if I go to Houston, they're going to have to pay for a plane ticket. If I go to Baltimore, I will pay for the Acela myself.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
Why is everyone so high on the Acela? Like, why? What is the branding?
No. Here's the only reason. It's not. You're not in a piece of tin flying through the air.
No, that's not what I mean. I just mean, why doesn't everybody just say the? But it's 30 minutes.
Well, that's 30 minutes faster.
But no, I know. But the point is, the brand is Amtrak. Literally, I had a conversation with someone else today, and they're like, and I jumped on the Acela. Everyone goes to the brand Acela. It's like $150 more for 30 minutes.
I know, but I just think it's something you say. He meant train, but Acela.
No, I meant Acela. And you know what? If you had 23 hours to live, and you said, give me $150, I'll give you 23 and a half. You'd take it. You buy it.
I get it, but you know what? Train time's your own time. And I don't really mind if it's an extra half hour. I enjoy the train. I don't have the anxiety of falling 3,000 feet.
Thank you.
I can get up and walk around. I don't feel claustrophobic. They've got a nice bar if I want to get a beer.
I just find it to be such a ripoff when I saw what the difference was.
Right.
Again, let me offer to ESPN. I will pay for my travel personally to take a train. Is that okay, Peter? Rather than a plane.
Right. Because the Acela may not work out timing-wise either. So Acela, train's the safer way to go.
Planes, trains, automobiles, whatever. I'll get there on my own dime.
That's right.
If I get to do the Orioles series.
Is abysmal. Again, nobody can explain.
Nobody can explain what?
that it takes 4 hours to go to Texas and only 5.5 to go to California.
It's actually 4.5
zero
sometimes.
Sense. It's something's wrong.
Well, big show tomorrow.
You don't know.
We've got Bob Wischusen on. We'll preview Yankees against the Orioles, Mets against the Braves. Yankees could clinch the East. The Mets could clinch a postseason. It's all getting great. The show's unbelievable. Don't you guys agree?
Oh, I think it's fantastic.
Every second he enjoys. Think about that. And you know who else enjoys every second? Billy Joel.